Hi Aries, welcome to your week ahead tarot with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, these readings are for your sun, moon and ascendant sign. So whether you're a sun, moon or rising sign Aries, this is for you. And I always advise that you watch all three to get a clearer, more complete picture of how they're going to speak to you. With that said, remember they are general readings. Not everything's going to resonate with everybody, and that is just fine. You should always use your own discernment. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my deck of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So your key to the week this week is the Death card. Endings, completions, culminations. This is a time where things are coming to an end. This is about wrapping up a cycle. It's about moving on to what feels like it is the next best thing for you. Ultimately, remember the Death card can't just mean that. It can't just mean transformation. Yes, it can sometimes mean actual death, but usually it comes up with very specific cards. This is a week for you to consciously make a decision to put something down, to end something. So this is about you being really honest with yourself about what makes the cut and what needs to go from your life over the course of this week. Just want to make sure my picture doesn't come down again. All right, so for if you are a continued subby, you know Rafi loves you, and if you're new to my channel, please don't forget to like, share if you should so choose and it resonates. Hit the subscribe button. For your actions and options this week, you have the Hierophant card. I can hear you. You've got the Hierophant card coupled with the Death card. It's an interesting combination, and if you've been with me a while now, you know that when it comes to the Aries and the Gemini readings, I tend to pay a little more attention to these than maybe usual, and the reason being is because Aries, in a sense, it represents all of us, just like Pisces, but I don't know, I found more sort of active or on the wider world stage energies, Aries tends to show up. The Aries reading tends to show up for a lot more people, and it's the same with Gemini because Gemini rules the media. So when we see these things, they tend to play out on the wider world stage, and that combination could speak to an elder, a hierarchical, you know, the head of a company, the head of a dynasty of some sort could maybe be coming to their personal end, and I really hope that I'm wrong on that front. Sorry about that. All right, so as I was saying, the Hierophant coupled with the Death card can be the death of like a matriarch, a patriarch, matriarch, you know, of an elderly sort of head of a company, head of a, you know, of an oligarchical structure of some kind. On a more personal note though, because this is all about you, the Hierophant is your actions and options. This is about you re-establishing who you are, right? So in essence, this is a bit of a butterfly week for you, Aries. There are going to be things that are coming to a close, some of them probably very consciously, but this is about you deciding what makes the cut when it comes to who you are. This is, in essence, this is really about you solidifying all that you are and the way that you present yourself to the wider world, which is actually really exciting. What this also tells me as well, this week you're likely to be interacting with bigger governmental structures. So this could be a local authority, it could be you know, a corporate company in some way, shape or form. This is going to see you really putting yourself in place or in line for some kind of growth and expansion, but it's happening in a very structured, very traditional kind of way. For your communications and conversations, you've got the Six of Swords. So this is actually really nice. The Six of Swords is a card that tends to improve things, or it tends to herald things being improved for us. So where maybe you've had challenges, where maybe you've had issues, where certain things have maybe come up in you know, in your communications, this week things are going to be a lot easier. If I'm completely honest though, with the Death card here, this feels to me like your communication this week is going to be very black and white. You're going to be saying what you, and you know, Aries tends to be very black and white anyway. What you see is what you get, what you say is what you see, right? But this week it's almost like this isn't about flourish. It's not about hurting people's feelings. It's just about dealing with the facts, stating what is. And you know, Aries is a very competitive energy. And sometimes when you guys communicate, it really is, because it's kind of like toddler energy, you know, and I don't say that to be mean, I just say it to be honest and realistic. But this week, because it is the Six of Swords, there's something a bit more refined about this. You add to this then the Hierophant card, And this is about you really starting to understand the way that you come across to other people, how people view you. So through your conversations this week, you might become very aware of like, wow, do people actually see me that way? Like, do people believe that that's, you know, who I am? And so you're going to go about starting to rectify this. For those of you that are studying or in some form of academia, the Six of Swords is, you know, this is, I think for a lot of, certainly in the UK, we're heading towards results week. So, you know, for some of you, this could be that time where the wait is finally over. For a lot of you though, the Six of Swords is a breakthrough, all right, especially with that Death card. So for those of you that are studying, it's like you're choosing to put a certain idea to bed in order to maybe bring something else new that, you know, is more beneficial in. For those of you that are employed by somebody else, this could be, I mean, this literally Six of Swords, moving on, moving towards, you know, and with the Death card, this could literally be where you are deciding that you're changing jobs. It could be where, okay, so we shall start to continue. There's been a lot of these. All right, so basically we left off at, for those of you that are employed by somebody else, this could be a week where you are starting to look further afield for a new job or for new work. It may come about spontaneously. It might not necessarily be something that you initiate. It might be something that happens, you know, and you just kind of go with it. That being said, for those of you that are business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, people that work for themselves, this is you really deciding that whatever services and products you offer at this moment in time, they're not a true reflection of who you are or what your business is really trying to say. So this week it does suggest that you are going in new directions, that you are opening up your mind to some of the further reaches of what you can do. There is a lot of possibility in that Six of Swords, because it's about leaping into the unknown in some way, shape or form. It's just about knowing that wherever I go, it's going to be better than here. All right. And that's not to say that what you're doing already isn't amazing. It's just about really opening up to the change. For those of you that are retired and no longer working, your Six of Swords, especially with the Death card and the Hierophant card, I actually think this is about you finding something that really makes you feel useful. And this isn't about being useful in society's eyes or any of that crap. This is about you really owning your time, your effort, your energy, and your space, and just kind of saying, you know what, I am ready to get back to doing something that makes me feel better. I think for a lot of you, you've been resting, recharging, recuperating. You know, at this point, the sun is quite far away from Aries right now, right? So like heading towards the midpoint of the zodiac. So, you know, you guys are feeling a little bit spent, but you know, now that the sun is in a fellow fire sign, you will definitely be receiving those trine benefits. All right. So then for your love and relations, you have the Knight of Swords. So this with the Six of Swords and the communications, for those of you that are single, I actually really like this for you. Maybe for some of the conversations that you're having this week, it could be that they are a little bit feisty. Maybe you meet somebody that really challenges you. This isn't about necessarily making a go of it with that person, but it is about them highlighting to you through conversation. It's like, I don't know if have you ever been on a date where you have the date, it was nice, but you totally agree, there's no spark, there's nothing here, but actually the conversation has been great, and maybe, just maybe, we can be friends. There's something about this that suggests it's like you go in for one thing, but you end up leaving with something completely different this week. For those of you that are partnered, married, or in long-term commitments, you've got this Knight of Swords here underneath the Hierophant card. I really think for a lot of you, this is about really looking at the logistics of your relationship, especially for those of you that live long distance. So for some of you, you know, and I say this with caution, you know, because I don't want to put this out there if you're really happy. For some of you, this may be, if you're in a long distance relationship, this could be the week where you say, you know what, it really isn't working for either of us, and I don't have the time, the effort, or the energy right now to pull away from everything else that I've got going on in my life. So there's a moment of really stark honesty here. For those of you that are partnered, married in long terms, and you live in the same sort of a place, or you live together already, this could literally be, you know what, you're going to have to start picking the kids up from school, or you know what, you're going to have to start doing the shopping at the end of the week. There's something here about the logistics of your relationship that is coming up for review this week, and it's like you're talking about it really honestly and openly, and once you put these new things in place, Six of Swords, it's going to be much better than it already is. For your money and materials, you have the Queen of Swords. Okay, so this is a lot of swords energy, which suggests that you guys are very in your heads this week, right? Now, this is the thing as well, like lots of people talk about Aries and it's like energy and passion and vibrancy and all the rest of it. That's great, and it's totally true. But Aries rules the mind, so there's a lot that happens with you guys here. And I gotta say, with these kinds of cards and the combination that they are, there is very much a what's the word that I'm looking for? There's a very much a, you know, you're in your head. A lot of what's going on at the moment is coming from here. Like, this is where everything is being informed from. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it does suggest that, you know, not everybody's a mind reader. Not everybody is instantly going to know what you're thinking. So you have to find a way to get some of this out. Now, when it comes to your money and materials, I've got to be honest with you. This could be a week where you're having some challenging conversations around money and resources, but because you've got the Six of Swords here, it's like you're having to have the hard conversation, but the hard conversation makes it better. For those of you, Queen of Swords, Hierophant, if you're interacting with a financial institution this week, you may have to have, you know, a little bit more of a back and forth. You might have to not get into it, but you might have to really pay attention to some of the details this week. And, you know, maybe for a select few of you, you might have to pull rank in some regard when it comes to your finances. And then finally, when it comes to your home and environment, look, I'm going to be honest, you are heading towards being more settled in the home, but it's a little bit more of a terse energy. And then finally, for your physical health and vitality, the Queen of Swords for me is your liver and a part of your kidneys and your urinary system, sorry. So this week, keep an eye on that. But also, because there's a lot of mind stuff going on here, one thing that I have noticed about, and I've talked about this previously, one thing that I have noticed a lot for Aries people, you guys tend to have a lot of stomach problems, and it's usually because this is doing 10 to the dozen. So this week, you know, if you're finding that you're having any digestive issues or, you know, issues with your waterworks, you know, think about, I'm not a doctor, can't give you medical advice, but think about this from the perspective of how much of my mental stress, or, you know, that I'm causing myself, is having an adverse effect on my body. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic week, and let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.